The sky was still dark when the alarm rang. For 10 a.m., it's a time when most of the world is still wrapped in the comfort of sleep. But for Armand, this is when the day begins. The cold morning breeze slips in through the cracks of the window, brushing against his skin, reminding him once more that life requires effort, constant, unending effort. Armand sits up slowly, rubbing his eyes. The silence of dawn feels deep, almost sacred. The small living room just outside his bedroom is dim, lit only by the faint glow of the moon spilling through the curtains. He quietly walks to the sink, splashes cool water on his face, and performs his wudu. Every morning, before anything else, he prays. It's his way of grounding himself, of surrendering his hopes, fears, and burdens to the one who sees everything. As he spreads the prayer mat and bows his head, he whispers names: his wife, Sari, and his 2 children, Hannah and little Arka. He prays that their lives will always be filled with health, safety, and happiness. He prays that his work, no matter how tiring, will bring blessings and enough provisions. He prays for strength not to become wealthy, but to endure. When he finishes, the clock shows 4:35, time to prepare. His wife, Sari, must have heard him, because moments later she steps out of the bedroom, her hair tied loosely, her face still touched by sleep, but her smile warm, as always. "You're up," she says softly, her voice as gentle as the dawn itself. "Yeah," Armand replies with a faint smile. "It's time." Without needing to ask, Sari walks to the small kitchen. She lights the stove and begins preparing his usual morning drink: warm ginger tea. It helps him stay awake during the long journey ahead. She moves quietly, almost gracefully, as if not to disturb the silence. Armand puts on his work clothes: faded navy pants, a long-sleeved shirt, and his old brown jacket. This jacket has seen years of weather and struggle. Its pockets carry memories, bus tickets, receipts, folded pieces of paper with reminders, and scribbled dreams. He zips it up and takes a deep breath, as if gathering courage along with the air. Sari places the cup of ginger tea on the table and watches him drink. There are no dramatic words or emotional speeches, just quiet understanding. They've been through enough to know that love is often found not in grand gestures, but in small, consistent acts of care. "When will you be home today?" she asks. "Maybe around 7, Armand says, lowering the cup. "The shift might go a little longer." She nods. "I'll keep dinner warm." Armand smiles again, though his eyes carry a tiredness he can never fully hide. "Thank you." Before he leaves, he walks into the children's room. Hannah is curled under her blanket, hugging her favorite stuffed bear. Arka sleeps on his back, his little lips slightly open. Armand's heart softens at the sight. He kisses their foreheads carefully, so as not to wake them. "One day," he whispers softly, "you won't have to see me leave so early like this. One day, things will be easier." He steps outside. The air is cold, biting even. His motorcycle, old but dependable, is parked near the small wooden fence. He places his helmet on his head and slips on his gloves. The engine coughs a bit as it starts. Age has made it stubborn, but eventually, it rumbles to life. Sari steps out to see him off. The breeze tugs lightly at her clothes. "Be safe." "Okay," she says. Armand nods. "Always. And if you're tired, stop and rest. Don't push yourself." Her concern wraps around him like a warm blanket. He reaches out and squeezes her hand for a brief, quiet second. "I'll be back." With that, he rides into the dawn. The village roads are still empty, lit only by streetlights flickering every few meters. The sound of his motorcycle echoes softly through the quiet morning. The sky is still ink black, but gradually, a faint shade of blue begins appearing on the horizon. The journey is long, nearly 2 hours to the factory where he works. Some days, the cold makes his fingers numb. Some days, the rain soaks him to the bone. Some days, he fights sleep as the engine hums steadily beneath him, but he keeps going. Because every paycheck, every day of effort, is a step toward a better future for his family. As he rides, he thinks about his life. He remembers the times when choosing to give up felt so tempting, when the money was barely enough, when food was simple, when repairs to the house had to be postponed, when the children asked for something new and he couldn't afford it just yet. But the image of his family, smiling even in their simplicity, always pushes him forward. Halfway through the journey, the sun begins to rise. Warm colors, pink, orange, gold, paint the horizon like a gift from above. He always loves this moment. It feels like the universe whispering, "You made it through the night." You are still moving. By the time he reaches the city, the roads are alive. Buses, trucks, motorcycles, all buzzing like insects in a hive. He blends into the rhythm, steady and patient. At the factory gate, he parks his motorcycle and stretches his stiff shoulders. The work ahead will be long hours of lifting, moving, sorting, and sweating. But he has learned not to complain. Complaints don't change reality. Effort does. As he begins his shift, his mind occasionally drifts back home. He imagines Hannah waking up and asking, "Where's Papa?" He imagines Sari preparing breakfast for the children. He imagines the warm lights of their home waiting for him at the end of the day. And that thought alone is enough, because love, for him, is not spoken often. It is done, it is sacrificed, it is lived. Before the sun rises, while the world still sleeps, Arman begins his journey, and he does so with a quiet, unwavering heart, every single day, for his family, for their future, for a love that doesn't need to be spoken. This is the story of millions of fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters around the world. Their love is a silent promise, kept long before the sun even thinks about rising.